You very much. It is great to be here and welcome everyone. My name is Anju Alwis, and today I'm coming to you from the UAE, from Dubai. So let me start sharing my presentation. I think when we look at today's world, it is with we've got lots of technology that's there. And here in the UAE, we've got a lot of conferences happening in Abu Dhabi. We're having FinTech Week. And in Dubai as well, there are many conferences taking place. And we all know that around us, there's a lot of technology, but with technology and as it comes there's a lot of opportunities, but at the same time, there is that social responsibility as well. And that's what I'm going to discuss with you today. So great to have you. And 1 second, please. Just give me a second. Well, it's bringing different things, just as usual. So just give me a minute to start sharing my screen again with you. Right, you should be able to see my screen now. And as I said, I'm Anju. I'm currently based in UAE, but I come from Australia, and I'm doing my PhD there with University of Southern Queensland. And the topic is, of course, blockchain in education. And as you can see, I'm also affiliated and a fellow member of both CIMA UK and CP Australia. And I'm also a global council member with CIMA, and I am in a couple of different committees with both CIMA as well as CP Australia. And you can see that these committees have got ethics at the end of its name, right? So you can see this is the reason why I'm so close to this particular topic is very close to my heart. Well, my company, Ultimate Access, we are accredited by both CIMA as well as CP Australia to deliver their programs, and we also deliver technology courses. Now, this is what we are all interested in today's world, isn't it? And blockchain has had a lot of ups and a lot of downs because of the cryptocurrencies as well. But blockchain as a technology, the distributed ledger technology, has really taken off in the past decade. And we can see the potential is immense in the future, because it offers something that no other technology is able to offer us, right? And that is the characteristics, the unique characteristics it has. Now, to demonstrate these characteristics, let's talk about the coffee that we all know about very well. Well, all of us, most of us, I guess, would have some cups of coffee for a day. And well, it's 400 billion cups are consumed each year by individuals, right? And second most traded commodity in the world. And you can see that it provides a livelihood for nearly 10% of the global population. And you would see also the 50 countries that are involved in farming the coffee beans are developing countries. So with that, there are some challenges. And the challenges are, there is certainly a dark side to this exchange. the unequal social environmental exchange. To manage that, we do have the Fair Trade Commission coming in place. However, still, that is not sufficient. How do we know that what somebody reports is the truth? There is a question mark, isn't it? And that's where technology such as distributed technology plays a very, very important role because of its characteristics. It is programmable, and because of that, we really, and it's immutable. All of these characteristics makes it very unique, and we don't need to trust an individual anymore. We don't need to trust an organization anymore because we are able to trust technology. So technology, because of its unique characteristics, will provide that trustless mechanism. And we are able to proceed with that. We are able to then go ahead to look at the supply chain and see, does it really produce what it's supposed to produce? Does this supply chain support the farmers? Do they provide the farmers with the adequate remuneration? How about the transportation? How about the emissions, right? This is all tracked, and we are able to provide the right information. So as I mentioned, it has significant benefits. And when we look at the supply chain, the whole supply chain, you can see that blockchain can very nicely play a very strong role. And there is significant benefits, to the world. You could see it provides that provenance. The provenance, you're able to track something. You're able to trace something. Because of that, there is increasing global GDP. Payments and financial instruments, new kind of payments and financial instruments have come in, and that is even the central bank digital currencies are there, and we can use it in a very effective manner. The technology is also used for identity as well, and that in itself can provide significant value. And of course, the smart contracts can again take this business to a different state completely. And that enables that trust. Because of the technology that's there, we're able to trust the technology, not the people, and then the contracts will get executed, which is fantastic again. And of course, the customer engagement will increase, because instead of the loyalty cards, we could have this type of augmented customer engagement taking place due to blockchain. Now, with great promise, there is a lot of potential risks as well. This is where we need to look at what are the potential risks that are there. How are we going to manage it? Right. And now I come to the key area of my talk today, which is technology ethics. What is technology ethics and why do we need it? Let's see a little bit why we need it. I think all of us have come across this movie, The Great Hack, or we've all heard about it, read about the Cambridge Analytica debacle, right? So that in itself gives us a very good idea what can take place, right? What can happen if there is no controls, no governance, and if we don't know what's going to take place with the data that is collected. And this is the reason why we need to think about ethics very seriously, because today we are collecting information about people, places, and what the habits of people, what we buy. A lot of things is collected, but What is it used for is another question. And just this week, I think we saw this issue with FTX, right? This month we saw this unfold just in front of us. When we looked at, when I did some research about this company and the founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, just looking at who is this person, what is the background, and then looking at the company, how was the company structured? The governance of the company plays a big role. And this is an exchange company. A lot of people have lost money, and it is a disaster. But this is not the first time it has happened. And why did this happen is another question. And it could be one of the big reasons is that governance, isn't it? So if I take a step back and get you to think about the stock exchange, and let's think about a New York Stock Exchange, a London Stock Exchange, Australian Stock Exchange, and you would see for a company to be listed in the stock exchange, they have to go through a lot of rigor. And why is that? It's because you are, people like you and me will invest in the company, right? So it becomes really important for the governments of these countries where the stock exchanges are to have a robust economy, a robust governance in place to make sure the society is protected. However, when it comes to these technology companies, where a lot of people are using, a lot of people come in and invest money, and whether it's company like this, an exchange, or we could look at the cryptocurrencies, different currencies that are there, there is no laws, there are no ethics behind it. So the regulation is lagging when it comes to technology applications. Now, this is where I think there is a big issue. There's a huge gap. And this is something that we all technologists need to look at and be very careful, take responsibility to what you're going to be building, because it'll affect not just one person, but the whole society, as what has happened here with FTX. Now, technology is there for one purpose and one purpose alone. It is an enabler. It is an enabler for business to propel its activities. But why does a business exist? For society, isn't it? So this has a really interesting kind of dimensions, because you could see technology, business, and society have to work together. So technology is really there to enable our lives, an enabler. Imagine the time without internet, and I can remember, I'm old enough to remember the time without internet. And it was a very different, it was amazing when we had the internet, right? It brought on a lot of positives. However, we need to again consider that governance, the risks, and look at, well, when we are thinking about building applications, have you thought about the governance structure of the shared data? The application itself, how are you going to use this data? The integrity, accountability, who's going to be accountable for this, right? And then again, looking at the GDPR rules, and in other jurisdictions, there are other rules that are there as well. how have we embedded it into the application, into this whole process? What is the environmental impact? And I think in today's world, we need to consider the consumption of energy. I would also look at the social impact. So I would take the full blown environmental, social, governance impact into this application or your tech stack, as I would say. And I think it's really important for us to have a very good idea, a good, robust discussion at the board level, as well as you, if you're the developers, if you are creating any applications, any technological innovations, you need to consider this. So my background, as you saw, is I'm an accountant by profession. So as accountants, we have a suite of ethics that we need to follow. If you are an accountant, a practicing accountant, or you're a student, you're a member, if you belong to an accounting body, all of us will follow these rules and the ethics, integrity, objectivity, and such. Why? Because we as professionals provide certain information to the public and society. So it is important what we state, what we say to the public, to society is relevant. There is integrity, there is objectivity in what we present, plus we need to act professionally. So I think it is really important when it comes to technologies like AI or blockchain, distributed ledger, or anything else that comes in the future. We need to bring these ethical behaviors when designing, developing, right? At the design stage itself, we need to be thinking about it and developing, of course. So you can see, you embed these ethics, in our education curriculum for our techies or everyone else. It's important to think about how do you embed this, and it's part of your culture. And designing, when you design, you think about why are we designing? What business problem are we solving? And how are we safeguarding our users? How are we safeguarding the information that is brought in? Who is going to access this information? And then when we are looking at the development, deploy, maintain, all of these areas, we need to include the technology ethics itself, right? It is very, very important if we want mass adoption to take place. And the latest, of course, the metaverse, who will govern it? And I read in a fantastic article in the World Economic Forum. They have written about this, and they are also very concerned because at the end of the day, when it comes to Web3, we all say, well, we don't want controls. But at the same time, we state, well, there has to be some controls. So how do we manage this? This becomes a very difficult question, isn't it? And I frankly don't have the answers, but this is where we discuss, we come together and say, how can we solve this challenge? And it is an evolving space that we are all in. And it's important that we understand the risks associated with it. And of course, the great opportunities that are there. And just to let you know, the Abu Dhabi Global Market has launched the mediation area in the metaverse, right? And this is quite interesting. They've gone very high tech, I would say. And this service is offered. So we have a mediation. Then we do not have to, if there's a mediation requirement, we don't have to go to Abu Dhabi. Wherever the person is, from wherever, they could log on to this metaverse and then resolve any issues that we've got, right? So, of course, in this case, there would be a lot of governance in place, a lot of security, how to access, how the information is stored, where the information is stored as well. It's really, really important to consider these things. And I'm sure when it comes to Abu Dhabi ADGM, they would have taken adequate steps to make sure that they're in the forefront of governance. So I thought I would end my presentation today with Jack Ma's comments. I really like what he had to say about blockchain. It's certainly there to change the world. As we all saw, there's a lot of opportunities, and it is just the beginning. And we can see that technology, it's not the technology that changes the world. It is the dreams behind the technology that will change the world. And that those dreams come with because there is a problem. And we all want to solve a problem, and this technology is there. We're able to look at it and say, well, why not use it, right? And with that, I would end today's presentation. My contact details are here. You can contact me on LinkedIn, WhatsApp, or my email address as well. And with that, I'll open up for questions. Thank you.